know, but a lot of people work. So,
But that's the reason it's so busy is because that's where people go. I mean, just like that Kroger there, that's my Kroger. It's the busiest Kroger in town.
is it really?
Because, yeah, it's just mobbed all the time because of the situation. So people come in from.
I have to go to church.
Nothing's supposed to be. Whole Foods was better. I'm going to go back to Fresh Time now, which is not close to you.
No,
It's the
but
next
still the
best
same.
thing.
I don't know.
Disappointed.
Well, I mean, it is true. But remarkable.
Yeah.
Whoever you are, we welcome you. Wherever you come from, we welcome you. Whoever you love, we welcome you. Whoever you love, we welcome you.
Good morning. And welcome to First Unitarian Church at Toledo. I'm Joe Moran, this morning's worship associate, and guest minister and member of this congregation, Apostle Soroya King, will lead the service today. Our music is provided by our music director, Jeffrey Maxey, and he will also be leading our First Unitarian Choir. We are a church with no doctrine or official creed. We covenant instead to support each other in our individual search for truth and meaning. If you're a visitor, you may notice in the pew rack in front of you a rainbow-colored card with our principles and our sources. Feel free to take one with you. There's also a yellow card that you may use to introduce yourself to us, and if you include your email address, we will send you our weekly email with news of various activities. As you meet people today, feel free to introduce yourself and ask any questions you might have. We also welcome those of you who are joining us virtually on YouTube. Later in the service, I encourage you to attend the coffee hour, social hour for conversation and fellowship hall right at the conclusion of the service. It is one of the perks of making Sunday service a regular in your schedule when you attend in person. Thank you.
The coming church year. We are Unitarian Universalists with minds that think, hearts that love, and hands that are ready to serve. Here for our earth and to prefer for friendship, peace in our world. Please join me in reciting our covenant.
Love is
the doctrine of this
church.
The quest
For
for
truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to speak the truth in love, and to help one another.
Our opening hymn is number 105, From Age to Age. As you are willing and able, please stand.
From age to age shall grandly rise the prophet souls in line. Above thy passing centuries, like beacon lights they shine. Like beacon lights they shine. They
We will now have this morning in our minds, in our hearts, and with our spirits. Let us turn our attentions to the mic is open. Let us turn our attention to hearts and minds and spirits as we come to this place. We think of the ways of the world, the state of the nation, the serenity of our own souls. There is war. We hope for peace. Some weather is destructive, even violent. We look for pleasant climate, even in the midst of change. We hold members, supporters, and friends of our congregation near as so many of us face issues of health, of relationships, of loneliness, of economy, of life. Let's be good to one another, help if we can, and honor our togetherness even though each of us is so different from one another. You might have your own items for meditation, contemplation, and prayer so that we include the unsaid here as we are in community. We can share the burdens and be glad for accomplishments. We are together in fact and in spirit.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yep.
I'm reading the story today. It's entitled Musa and Naguib. Once, two friends named Musa and Naguib made a journey through the mountains of Persia on camelback. They came after a time to a place where a stream flowed by a sandy bank and trees gave shade. There they had a discussion, which turned into an argument. Naguib grew angry, and for the first time ever, he slapped Musa across the face. Musa was stunned. He felt angry. He wanted to slap Naguib back. But then he thought, I cannot be too mad at my friend because I could have done the same thing. We are alike, and I care about him, and I don't want to fight with him anymore. So he walked over to the trees instead and picked up a stick. With the stick, he wrote in the sand, "Today my best friend slapped me." Then he and his friend stood in silence and watched as the desert wind blew the words in the sand away. By the time the writing had disappeared, Naguib had said that he was sorry. The friends got back on their camels and rode to their destination in a distant city. On their trip back through the mountain pass, they stopped again at the same river. This time, the two friends decided to take a swim. Since their first visit, the rains had made the current stronger and the river much deeper. Musa, the friend who had been slapped, stepped into the water first. Right away, he slipped on a rock and was dragged under by the current and began to drown. Naguib jumped in without a second thought and pulled his friend to safety. The two friends again sat in silence for some time until Musa had regained his breath. Then he rose and went to his saddlebags. There he found a carving knife. This time he went to a rock near the river. Into the rock he carved these words, "Today my best friend saved me." Again the two friends sat in silence. Finally Naguib spoke. "My friend, after I hurt you, you wrote the words in sand. Now, after I saved you, you wrote the words in stone. Why?" Musa replied, "When someone hurts us, we should write it down in sand where the words of forgiveness can erase it away. This way our hearts are free from bitterness and we can renew our friendships. But when someone does something kind for us, we must engrave it in stone and in our hearts so that we will never forget." "Thank you, my friend," said Naguib. "I am very grateful for our friendship. I don't ever want to hurt you again." The two friends embraced and continued on their journey together. And I am very grateful for your friendship. Now is the time for children to go off to their religious education program. Thank you.
Let's sing for the children, as this is the time when they and their teachers should leave the service for religious education.
As you go on your way, may you be filled with gladness. Go in joy, go in joy. May fortune bless your day with peace and loving kindness. Go in love, go in love. Mother, mother, There's too many of you crying. And brother, 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 there's far too many of you dying. You know you've got to find a way to bring some loving here today. Yeah. Father, Father, we don't need to escalate. You see, war is not the answer, for only love can conquer hate. You know you've got to find a way to bring some loving here today. Picket lines and picket signs, don't punish me with brutality. Talk to me so you can see what's going on. What's going on? Yeah, what's going on? What's going on? Mother, mother, everybody thinks we're wrong, but who are they to judge us simply 'cause our hair is long? Oh, you know you've got to find a way to bring some understanding here today. Oh, picket lines and picket signs, don't punish me with brutality. Talk to me so you can see, oh, what's going on? What's going on? Yeah, what's going on? What's going on?
Let us turn our hearts, minds, and spirits to meditation, contemplation, and prayer today. Be happy more often. Our perception is our choice. We can choose to be happy or choose to be grumpy. Let's practice turning away from what doesn't feel good and turn towards what makes us happy. All thoughts are energetic frequencies expanding into the universe. Let's create lots of those frequencies with happy thoughts. Quiet your mind for just 1 minute. Let go of all thought. Hum one single note as long as your breath allows. Focus on the vibrating sensation while humming this single note. Let peace melt over your entire being. For this 1 minute, everything in you and around you is perfect. Our perception is our choice. We can choose to be happy or choose to be grumpy. Let us practice turning away from what doesn't feel good and turning toward what does make us happy. All thoughts are energetic frequencies expanding into the universe. Let's create lots of those frequencies with happy thoughts. Ah. Let's be happy more often. Let us seal the promise to ourselves with one moment of silence.
Spirit of life, come unto me, sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion, blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me.
I share this reading with you, News of the Infinite, adapted by Gary Kowalski. Asked if he was lonesome in his hut on Walden Pond, Henry Thoreau famously replied, "How could I be lonely? Don't I live in the Milky Way?" Thoreau doubtless would have been encouraged by recent discovery of Kepler 22, a planet just 600 light years from the Earth, right in the Goldilocks zone. Not too hot, not too cold, but a balmy 72 degrees on the surface, just right for organic chemistry to flourish. It is just one of 139 potentially habitable worlds sighted since the Kepler spacecraft 1 started looking for them a couple of years ago. And given the size of our galaxy, there are almost certainly billions of others. Life is probably widespread in our universe. Scientists agree. Back when I was a boy, a famous experiment produced amino acids, the building blocks of proteins, by flashing an electric spark through a beaker of ammonia, methane, hydrogen, and water vapor, thought to be the primitive components of Earth's atmosphere. The theory was that long ago, a lucky lightning strike in a shallow pond produced the first protoplasm. By now we know that amino acids are everywhere in the tails of comets and the dust of interstellar space. Wherever conditions are right, an evolution takes off. And conditions are right all over in many places. For example, a moon of Saturn, where liquid water has been proven to be present in geysers. Many cosmologists agree that the cosmos appears propitiously suited to right down to the fundamental constants that govern gravity and allow stars and planets to form at all. Of course, this doesn't necessarily mean the universe was designed for beings like us, but it does put a new twist on old legends like the Christmas star. Does it really matter whether a nova appeared over Bethlehem all those years ago? For me, the real wonder is that we were all born out of stars, every molecule in our bodies forged in the furnaces of the heavens. What this means is that we human beings belong here. We're not just accidental bursts or tourists in the world. We have grown out of time and space as naturally as grass pushes up to the cracks of sidewalks. And we are linked to nature, not only in biology, but in our minds and in our spirits, which can conceive space, probes like Kepler, and seem eternally fascinated by the big questions of where we come from and where we fit into the greater scheme.
Thank you, Joe. Hello, good morning, First Unitarian Church in Toledo.
Good morning.
Good morning.
It is a pleasure and an honor.
Be a little louder.
It's a pleasure and an honor.
Thank you.
I need to use this whole preaching gut. This is what I need to do. Thank you so much for having me here today. It's an honor and a pleasure to see you all. And it's good to see you all in one piece. Truly. Today, I have the opportunity to share with you some time. And Walter, I'm going to go off script a little bit, so just roll with me, if you would. Today, I need to share with you some ideas that I've had cultivating for a long time that have probably been more so abbreviated because of the incidents surrounding October 7th of this year. And it reflects directly to you as Unitarian Universalists, because as Unitarian Universalists, I see an opportunity for us to get in right where we fit. The discussion that I wanted to start with, and I'm going to touch upon it because it's worthy to think about, talks about culture. What culture really is at a basic level of human existence in the thing called life, where we come to a place where we know certain things because of the way we have been engaged to them. We know how structure begins for many of us in life with a family or some semblance of family, and that we live a certain way because we're defined by things such as ethnicity, race, gender, sexual orientation, our neighborhoods, how we grew up, the schools we went to, the things that we did for life's work, and even right up to the day what we're doing right now. All these things reflect a certain level of culture. There's the material culture and the non-material culture. The non-material culture, the things that we learn growing up as kids, the codes of behavior, the codes of social decorum, the do's, the do-nots, might, and maybe, and nobody's looking. All of that incorporates into one fine point of who we are. And most of that is pretty much verifiable by what we call teleological questions: what, when, how, why, and who. But when worlds collide, when our cultures collide, the question of why becomes more and more nebulous. Does anybody have a reason why for October 7th, 2023? Does anybody know why? We experience through media a head-on collision of two cultures. And nobody has an explanation. We'll find that hidden in the newspapers and the news reports, defined by 3 words: a senseless tragedy. There's a part of me that understands tragedy, but I don't buy senseless, because that is a word that's defined only by the severity or the lack thereof, the tragedy itself. It takes the real seriousness away from the tragedy, a senseless tragedy. What are you really talking about? What's going on? We have to look at the history of people. We have to look at what people hold to value. We have to look at the inherent worth of each and every person, because of, irregardless to their colliding religion, their colliding way of life, their colliding understanding of how the world works, and their colliding individual experience in one place. We should never be comfortable with that arching description of sense, because that is the word that will put most of us to sleep. And we'll go on to the next day, or on to the next shopping trip, or go and get your gas filled up at your tank, or we'll go to the bridge club, or we'll go shopping. When they have pronounced it as senseless, it takes the responsibility off you. Unitarian University. Let me let you in on something. That 8th principle is a call. It says in fine print, we say what we say we are, and we do what we say we do. Yes, we are social harbingers. Yes, we are whistleblowers. Yes, we are civil disobedient. Yes, we are dissenters. And yes, we might do some things to back all of that up. We will not be lulled by an adjective or an adverb anywhere related to senseless, because when we do, we'll be just like everyone else and fall on, and our prayers fall to the floor. Our actions become null and void, and we miss the whole picture. Prayer is only as good as the actions you take behind it. There are 3 prayers that God, Creator, Divine, the universe, how you describe Him, will not answer. The first being the ones that have already been answered. Some people get on a wheel and they just Same thing every day. The ones that have been answered, they won't be answered again. The second ones that are not answered are the ones that will cause you harm, distress, danger, take you out of the realm of the spiritual purpose that each and every one of you has, whether you've discovered it or not. If it takes you away from who you are designed to be inherently through millions of stars and the DNA that has a divine signature on it, they won't be answered. But the one I know for certain won't be answered is the one that's requiring you to answer it. There is a purpose in tragedy. I'm going to lean on my Christian background for a moment. Indulge me, if you will. In the book of John, in chapter 9, Jesus is training the apostles, those guys that come from various backgrounds and educations or lack thereof. And they pass by a man in chapter 9 of John, book of John, who was born blind. Jesus asks the disciples, the apostles, were they born blind? What happened? What happened to him? They asked, well, he must have sinned. It's something his parents did. He's blind because of something he did. He must have had an accident. There was something happened to him that caused him to not be normal. There was something he did. He deserved it, to paraphrase. Which none of that was true. The human experience sometimes describes things in a way that's relevant to our own personal understanding, and this is where we get into trouble. The man was born blind, and Jesus reiterated that he was born blind not of his own volition nor that of his parents. There was nothing that he did wrong. It was not because he wasn't born in a certain social class. It was not because he didn't have the right doctors. It was not because of the color of his skin. It wasn't because he was transsexual. It wasn't because he was a woman at the lowest caste system in the community. It wasn't because he lived in the projects. It simply was. Jesus goes on and heals him. And he is whooping it up. Jesus tells him to go and show himself to the priests who know everything. They know it all. Go show yourself to them and let them figure it out. Sometimes as the church, we sit in a place where we think we know it all. When some of the most basic things need to be done for people to lift them and restore them and bring them up to a level of acceptance in this experience. Housing, medical care, education, access to infrastructure are basic rights. There shouldn't be any tags of eligibility assigned to any of that. But when the worlds collide, people can make decisions about who gets what, because this is a senseless tragedy. Food, water, and electricity are going to be negotiated for 2.2 million people whom we don't know. My thought is this. The playground is big enough for everybody to sit in the sandbox and play together. Maybe it's time for the Unitarian Universalist churches of associations to be the referee. Sometimes I wonder if some of us are not hiding out. We can no longer hide. We have a social obligation. I'm going to close with this. If Israel doesn't make it, we're not going to make it. If Gaza doesn't make it, and I've read the text in Jeremiah, I've read the text in Amos, I've read the text in New Testament that Gaza is supposed to be destroyed. I believe the Bible for the Word of God. But what I don't believe is that humans should invoke that. Because it, again, will be another senseless tragedy. We have a social and moral obligation because we have 8 principles and 7 sources that say we activate our own power as a congregation, as a denomination, as a part of the spiritual community to say we need to take a different tone and we need to take a different walk in how we address the issues of the world. Because we're a part of this thing, and we're going to be a part of this thing until we rejoin the stars. And we might have to rejoin the thing with people who embrace Christianity, Muslim, Islam, Jains, Hindus, Buddhists, Protestants, Catholics. We might have to sit in that playground and get it right. We have the ability to referee. I'm going to read the last little thing I wrote. Unitarian Universalism allows for free collision of our thoughts and beliefs about the way people believe. If we look at ourselves closer, we're kind of like the apostles of the ascended Master Jesus Christ. Those 12 guys and those unnamed women who forged a path amongst differing theological, social, political thoughts and perceptions. If we understand that we are harbingers and whistleblowers and civil dissenters with real viable part of solutions for our society right now, because we're armed with 8 principles and 7 understandings of what we know about the potential of the world, what's to keep us from it? Nobody but us. Consider this to be a time for you and me, Unitarian Universalists. It's time to create the cultures that we want and cancel the ones that collide. Let's seek the opportunities when worlds collide to create the culture that we want. Let us avert yet another senseless tragedy. And so it is. What's really going on?
Thank you, Soroya. We now come to the offering portion of our service. There are many ways that you can support the mission and work of First Unitarian Church in Toledo. Some of them will be shown on the screen here. You can go to our website, uutoledo.org, click on Give, and then click on Online Giving. And I think I missed also that we can send checks to our church at the location here, 3205 Glendale. I missed earlier the code that was shown here. You could take a photograph of the QR code, and that's another option too. You may also drop off an offering in the basket as you leave the sanctuary down the hallway. All of your donations are greatly appreciated and greatly needed for the ongoing work and the mission of this church. And we thank you in advance for all of your donations and all of your efforts, whether volunteer, whatever. We need them here, and we thank you for them. Thank you.
Our offering is number 121. It is listed wrong in your order of service. So if you want to join us, you feel free to go to number 121, We'll Build a Land. We'll build a land where we head up the broken.
We'll build a land where the captives go free. The world of gladness sings songs of mourning.
Oh, we'll build a promised land that can be. Come build a land with sisters and brothers, anointed by God, may create peace, where justice shall roll down like waters, and be like an ever-flowing stream. We'll build a land where we bring the good tidings to all the afflicted and all those who mourn, and we'll give them garlands instead of ashes. Oh, we'll build a land where peace is born. Come build a land where sisters and brothers, anointed by God, may and create peace, where justice shall roll down like waters, and peace like an ever-flowing stream. We'll build a land of ancient cities, raising up river stations from old, and restoring ruins of generations.
soon part of our service where we tell you what's on the calendar for next week. We'll give some announcements, and we'll also let you know what's up for right after the service. Join us for Spiritual Forum on October 22nd, when our guest will be veterinarian Tim Reichert, DVM. Dr. Reichert will talk to us about his experiences as a veterinarian of the Toledo Zoo. He will also stick around to talk to the kids about his zoo experiences during RE class time. This will be a very interesting discussion. Hope to see you there. Then for the 11 a.m. service, Reverend Tim will be back, and he'll be talking about aging. The topic is our membership as we are. We welcome all at First Unitarian, but it seems that most of us in the pews are at or close to reaching senior status. We're active in so many ways. Let's be open to living into our years.
And I have several announcements, a couple of religious education-related ones. First, there's a teacher training scheduled for this coming Saturday from 10 to 11:30. If you'd like to attend and haven't been contacted, please get in touch with Jenny Gottman, who will be back in the office on Tuesday. Second, a week from today, on Saturday, October 22nd, from 5 to 7 p.m., we'll have a make-your-own pizza party for high school-age youth, one of the beginning activities of our new youth group. I'm told root beer floats will also be available, and for more information, again, contact Jenny Gottman. The time is growing close for our concert by folk singer Charlie King. I spoke to him yesterday. He's very excited about coming back to Toledo and being at First Unitarian Church. He'll play here in this room on Saturday, October 28th at 7 p.m. Tickets are $20. Can be bought on Eventbrite or at the door. But we'd appreciate advance purchase so we can have some idea how many people will be coming. A couple of other announcements. Reverend Tim shared with me. The board has approved a special meeting request from the Capital Campaign Committee to have a congregational meeting on October 29th, 2 weeks from today, immediately following the service, for the purpose of having a congregational vote on which tier amount of the Capital Campaign we should pursue. Many of you participated in meetings to let the committee know your priorities for capital improvements, including the need for safety and ADA compliant projects. The vote is the next stage for developing the capital campaign. There will be a harvest potluck immediately following the vote. Safety at the church has become a concern, and we're attentive to it in a few ways. Most immediately, there will be a Zoom conference with Reverend Sunshine Wolf, who preached here recently. It's called Threats from Without and from Within. And the interactive workshop will be online by Zoom in Fellowship Hall from noon to 6 this coming Saturday. All are invited and welcome to attend, but we want to make a special call out to board members, our safety volunteers, and greeters, and I'm told refreshments will be reserved. And I want to just bring to your attention something that I just became aware of yesterday. Professor Groth, who was to speak here on November the 11th, will be postponing his presentation. And I think it is in light of the events that are going on in the Middle East right now. He is concerned for the safety of this congregation as well as himself. And he made it clear that this is a postponement. He wants very much to speak to the congregation here and to the community. And so we will be rescheduling the date, so please pass the word out. November 14th, date with Professor Groth to speak on the Holocaust will be postponed. Lastly, I want to invite everyone here to coffee hour in Fellowship Hall, straight down the hall, for a conversation and for refreshments. We hope to see you down there. Please, if you're new to the congregation, please come. We want to meet you and share our story and hear yours. So, thank you.
While I read what are the standard words for the coming church year when we figuratively send the flame into the community, Joe will extinguish the chalice fire. Shall we recite together? We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Our closing is a congregational sing, number 121. Love will guide us. 1057 in the teal. 1057, please, in the teal. Go, lift it up.
Go lift it up, love bless your way. Moonlight, starlight, guide your journey into peace and the brightness of day. It up, love bless your way. Moonlight, starlight, guide your journey into peace and the brightness of day.